The game featured in this video was gifted by Meta. Beyond Blue After the Storm is a single-player narrative adventure set in a deep ocean research station. It's a spiritual sequel to the original 2020 game Beyond Blue on PC, Xbox, and PlayStation. You play as Mirai Soto, a scientist sent to investigate what happened to the research station. Like a lot of VR games, you're given direction by a disembodied voice via radio. In this game, it's another scientist named Andre, and get used to hearing his voice because Mirai and Andre communicate a lot in this game, whether it's talking about the task at hand or just some playful banter. Unlike a lot of VR games, you actually have a physical companion with you too, a drone named Kanaloa introduced shortly into the main campaign. You can switch back and forth between Mirai and Kana depending on what you need to do. Kana serves as your muscle, lifting and moving objects out of the way as needed. Kana's presence gave me a lot of vibes of the Lone Echo games while I was playing this. Mirai also has a variety of tools like a scanner to scan all the different animals you encounter, a torch, a medical gun, and a welding tool. The scanner is on your left hip and the other three are on your right, and this is one of my only real gripes with the game. When you grab a tool from your right hip, the game automatically determines which tool you get by your proximity to any objects that require it. Meaning, if you need the welding tool, but you're not right up on whatever you need to weld, you won't pull it, you'll pull the medicine gun. This didn't happen too often, but it happened enough for me to miss having a multi-tool that could switch around at will, like in the Red Matter games. It mostly functions well, but it really stands out when it doesn't, and adds an unnecessary layer of jank that didn't really need to be in this game. The game plays out as a Deepsea equivalent of a walking narrative. As you complete one set of tasks, you simply swim to the next area and continue the story. It's a fairly relaxed adventure compared to most games as you're never truly in any peril. You never run out of oxygen and there's no real combat to be found here, although there are enemies in the game. Your job is to repair the station, figure out what happened to cause it to go down in the first place, and fix that problem. I won't give away any more than that to avoid spoilers, but I'm saying all this to say that if you're an adrenaline junkie looking for thrills in VR, this is not the game for you. It's the most chill story I've played through in quite some time. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but I want to make sure that people know what to expect here. Graphically, the game is okay. It does feel like really early Quest 2 days with a heavy dose of foveated rendering and some, at times, jarring asset pop-in. This includes your drone friend Kanaloa, who sometimes will stay far behind you and other times will just blip into existence right in front of you. This gets the job done, but I wasn't blown away by anything visually. Having said that, because I can already hear the graphic snobs screaming about immersion, I've played some stunning looking water-based games in VR like Kayak and Subside, and I felt more immersed playing this game than those. Reason being, there's actual life here. There's always fish and sharks and turtles and whales swimming around you. The more I play VR, the more stuff like that matters to me. I'm straight up tired of looking at beautiful worlds in VR that are totally empty. Beyond Blue is teeming with life, and at least for me, that mostly makes up for the graphical shortcomings. Mostly. I would love to see a Quest 3 update to push the visuals a bit more, but I'm not holding my breath for that. Performance-wise, asset pop inside, the game runs just fine. I didn't have a single bug during my playthrough, and sadly that's a rarity in VR these days, so props to the game for that. I already mentioned my issue with the right-sided tools. Another issue I took with the game is the lack of options. You propel yourself in water with small propellers on each hand. Using just one is painfully slow, so I generally use both. However, when you use both, a motion sickness vignette automatically triggers and there's no way to turn it off. I don't mind the vignette, but for people like me who never use them, there should have been a setting to disable it. Again, like the right-sided tools, it's another example of the devs making a choice for the player, and it was a bit of a buzzkill if I'm honest. The last thing to point out is the length. After the Storm is a pretty short experience, reportedly around 2 hours. This is in line with the first Beyond Blue game, which clocked in around 3 hours. I personally finished in just over an hour and a half, and I was mostly taking my time. But I've also played hundreds of VR games and generally have a pretty good feel for VR mechanics, so I finished a lot of VR games pretty quickly. Each area of the game has side missions that have you either scanning or healing some of the sea life around you, or removing certain obstacles. I did not complete every side mission, and I'd imagine if I did, I likely would top out at about 3 hours. Now there's nothing wrong with a short game. In fact, I did a video with a list of the 10 best short games in VR, and Beyond Blue would definitely make that list. At a pre-order price of $10 and a regular price of $15, it's priced appropriately for a narrative game with a limited runtime and amount of content. The original game, for reference, retails for $20. There are also 3 insights in the game, which are these videos that teach you about the importance of oceanic conservation. One of these is unlocked when you first start the game, the other 2 unlock as you progress in the campaign. Beyond Blue serves as a partial public service announcement about conservation and how we need to protect our oceans, similar to Rhythm of the Universe Ionia's message about preserving our tropical rainforests. So in the end, I enjoy Beyond Blue, but it's not a game I'm likely to revisit. Like most story-based games, once you've experienced the story, there's not a huge reason to return unless more content is added. Very few games have you diving underwater for long stretches in VR, and there's only one other game, the now defunct studio Archaeax Freediver Triton Down, that takes place entirely underwater, albeit that game was on a sinking ship, not in open water. So this game definitely feels like a breath of fresh air among the plethora of shooters, guerrilla tag knockoffs, and these shallow co-op experiences that litter the Meta Horizon store. If you found this helpful, let me know with a like. If you're not subscribed to my channel, now's a great time to do that. If you care to pick up Beyond Blue after the Storm on Quest, check the description for my affiliate link to get the discount and to help support the channel. Thanks for watching, catch you on the next one.